So good morning from Brasov. The host talked me into staying an extra night, which is good because I'm getting caught up on things much needed like laundry and so on. But apparently there's much more here than meets the eye, and he talked me into staying an extra night. The area itself is really beautiful. It reminds me a lot of Utah actually, with mountains all around, and there are a couple ski areas even nearby. But anyway, yeah, this is great. I'm getting caught up on some things before I head out tomorrow then for Constanta at the Black Sea, so that'll be pretty wild. And yeah, so we just did a few things today, and let's take a look. Hello guys, the Uber just dropped me off in sort of the downtown area of Brasov, and I needed both saline solution and an ATM. And I couldn't believe it. He happened to drop me off right in between without even having to ask. That's the pharmacia, and you roll around here and there's an ATM. Can't beat that for luck. But yeah, the city center is very, very charming, and of course there's the typical center square and so on. Architecture a little bit different here from Cebu and Sigosora. Everything looks a little bit newer. And there is that Brasov sign up on the top of the mountain. So I'm going to try to make it up there somehow. I don't know if there's another Uber or a shuttle. So made it to Center Square here in Brasov. I know I show you guys a lot of market squares and center squares, but there's nothing like them in Europe, and each one is different in its own way, whether it be architecture or history and so on. But there's nothing quite like sitting at an outdoor cafe on these squares and watching people go by and just drinking it all in. Speaking of drinking, it could be a cappuccino, a glass of wine, a beer, whatever. But just hanging out on these squares and relaxing, there's just nothing like it. And this one has some nice architecture going on. Of course, there are pigeons. There are always pigeons everywhere. And I suspect that they are well fed, for sure. And the Brasov is up on the mountain, of course. And more stairs up to the tram. Europe is just filled with stairs. I mean, absolutely everywhere. Everything must be built on hills and so on. But stairs are just everywhere. So after a long trek up to the tram, I find out the tram is closed today for maintenance. So maybe it was not meant to be, especially since it's closed for, quote, routine maintenance. Oh well, try to get some views from this point. Pretty nice indeed, even though sadly couldn't get up to the very top. It's still a nice shot of Brasov, for sure, from up here. Yeah, that was a great day. Just got a few things done and relaxed and stuff. And yeah, I think this town is seriously underrated, and I know it's not really in the tour books that much. And people use it more as a base, for example, going to the castles or skiing. There are those two major ski resorts nearby. But I think this town deserves more credit. There's a great vibe here. It's probably the most surprising place I've been yet, and extremely livable. Modern, clean, and so on. It was interesting. But I want to take a couple minutes to explain some cultural anomalies that I have found over here that I've been meaning to share with you guys. I'm making a list. For starters, here in Romania, men routinely urinate on the side of the road. I don't just mean in the country, but in the suburbs as well. They pull over and they just start urinating. I mean, they're facing, opposite traffic, but the first couple times I thought, oh, this is odd. And now I'm just seeing it all the time. So that's one interesting sort of cultural difference. People don't really have tattoos at all in Eastern Europe. There are a few here and there, but you just don't see tattoos. These are just some observations. I'm not sure if they're against them or not. It's just probably not part of their culture. But it's the little things too, like at grocery stores, the clerks sit. They sit down, and regardless of how many groceries you have, you get to bag your own. I mean, there's no way that they would ever dream of bagging your grocery, and you have to buy your own bags there, of course, which is becoming commonplace. But these are just a few of the cultural things that I've observed, and there are so many more. So I'm going to be sharing some here and there. The other one, or the last one, is regarding breads, and they do not, under any circumstance, have packaged breads like we do. Like, you know, a loaf of processed Wonder Bread or whatever, sliced up. No, instead everything is fresh every day, and they go crazy on all the bakery items and the breads, and by the end of the afternoon, the shelves look like the zombie apocalypse has happened. But there you go, that's just one more difference. Anyway, I could go on and on, but I'm going to be sharing some notes about these cultural things as often as possible as time goes on. Anyway, so tomorrow is out to Constanta, a longer drive day out to the Black Sea, but that will be exciting. And then Bucharest, their capital, for a couple days, and then I head down to Bulgaria. So from Bucharest down to Sofia, and then down to Plovdiv, Bulgaria. So anyway, that's the schedule for the next few days. And we will catch up tomorrow on the road. Good night.